Well, let me give a brief introduction about who Mrs. Uloma is. All right, so I've known her almost all my life. Yeah, almost all my life. Basically, almost all my practically my whole existence. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. So it's been a long time. I won't say the number of years, but it's been like a long time. Practically, like I said, all my existence. So she's like um so I call her Auntie Uloma. Right. So basically, some people were actually looking at your pictures and they were like, ah, okay. But I was, yeah. The reason is, Auntie Uloma is one of the reasons why actually, when I grew up, when I became an adult, why I actually support women, is because of some of those women that actually saw why I was growing up, the strength behind some of those women that I saw while I was growing up. That's the reason why presently or currently, that's why I support a lot of women. So Auntie Uloma was one of those aunties that I had then that would, after school, my dad also had tutors come around to teach me after school. But after all that, she would call me into the house, sit me down. She would tell me, Obina, you have to do this, that. She basically kept me on track. You understand? I would have literally, because of what I was exposed to, I would have literally swayed a number of times. But because of some of those strong women behind me, kind of make me mold me into someone better. She was one of those persons. She's actually that person, actually. The idea behind Left Cherry was because of the training I had from her, the things that she told me, the scolding was part of it, the teaching was part of it, the advice was part of it. Basically, she just made sure that I was on track, right? So if I say something about my mother, you understand, and I say something, I'll also call Auntie Uloma after that because she was literally the second mother that I had then. So and I really appreciate her. I was trying as much as I can not to say some of these things. I was hoping to say thank you to her, maybe formally. I don't know when. I was going to make that public so that the whole world will hear. But this came as it came. This is not the full introduction yet. I've not really said anything though. But because of the platform or what we're trying to do today, I decided to just restrict it to certain things that we're going to discuss today. So Auntie, if you could introduce yourself. I just gave a snippet, just a snippet about you. Yeah, so but I mean,
Okay, good evening from Nigeria.
yeah.
My name, as Obina introduced, is this is Uloma Okeugiri. I I have known Obina basically all his growing up days. In the first place, Obina is a replica of his dad. When I see Obina, the first person that comes to my mind is his dad. Is the same love that Obina's dad exuded and gave to me that I more like replicated. Obina is a very, very, very sweet person, very kind, very nice, very calm. And just like his father, when he puts his mind to do something, he gives more than 100. I'm so proud of him. There was a period when we all traveled to various places and we couldn't quite see, but he always, in fact, my first son is named after him, is Obina too, because he's the first relationship of a son that I had. The dad always wanted me and Obina to always be around me. And more like, just like my parents taught me, it's more about education. We're usually very interested in, education, staying in the presence of God, the impact of God. It's just been a journey. It's just been a journey from where we're coming from, where we are, and where we're heading to. So I'm just, I don't know if I should continue talking, but the truth of the matter is like, this is a dream come true for me. because sometimes when he talks, I'm like, he was rather very, very, very young and unimpressionable when we started. And I'm so, so happy that we got into a point whereby he understood the drive then. Obina's dad, when I came back from school, he will tell me, Uloma, write your list for your boarding school. When are you going back? I hope you were very serious with your books and all that. That was his dad for me. And I just give God all the glory that today I can look at Obina and still see his dad in him. See all the love and attention and affection, and it stems from God. And so I'm so proud of you, Obina. And I just trust God that He's taking us much, much more further than we expect.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. So I will try as much as I can, because I know you and your husband are open about. So I will try as much as I can to just make it short.
No problem.
Yeah, I'll try as much as I can.
I just hope you are fine with the background of where I am, because I'm on
it's fine.
I'm on transit, so I had to stop first to speak.
Yeah, it's fine, Auntie. It's fine. So, like I said, I was saying something about women and the strength behind the woman. One of the reasons why I brought you up is not basically to say thank you to you, because that's going to be a separate thing entirely, but also to talk about your experiences from when you were young up to this point. I knew you when I was much, much smaller, but I saw you then. Right? You were very strong, even though you looked so calm and different, but you were very strong-willed. Let me put it that way. And I think that is what has actually translated into what you're doing now. Currently, you own your business.
Yes.
But before that, you're professional. Yeah, but we're going to start from the beginning. Did you know then, when you were much younger, when you were in school, we start from boarding school, when you were in school, that you were going to get into business, or you wanted to be a medical doctor? To say that.
Okay, so like basically, most of us growing up, the first profession on our mind, even with the inspiration from our parents and all that, was always, you be a medical doctor, you be a medical doctor. In all sincerity, what I had in mind was law. I wanted to be a lawyer. Yeah. But my mom, the first thing she told me when I told her that profession was, like all lawyers are going to go to hellfire. Are you going to give up your eternity for this law? I was like, well, not necessarily though. It wasn't, I was really good in all the subjects. I was good in arts, I was good in sciences, and I was also good in, I was just multi-talented like that. And coming from, the background I was coming from, it was always about an environment where you had so many children languishing in crime, being on the street, poverty and all that. I knew I wasn't meant to be there. I knew this wasn't the place for me. So like basically the major thing that exposed me was the kind of school that I attended. Okay? The kind of school I attended was such that I left home and went really far to a private school, even though it was really difficult for my parents, but it was so important for them because they wanted us to leave that particular environment. And I was always very strict when it came to my English, when it came to my understanding of, who I am, what my dreams are, what my aspiration is, what I wanted and still want for my life, basically. Yeah. So that said, I always knew that I was definitely going to come out from where I was then. So I just like my parents who always say, you don't even like anything that has to do with the hard life, the difficult life. You don't even want to be associated with poverty. I always used to tell them that. So, sorry, please. Okay. So like basically that was it. That was my drive. And then when I saw when I went out to the ministries, I went to good churches. I saw the other side of life. So I wasn't restricted to one area. And I saw my friends' parents because of the kind of schools I went to. So it was just always in my mind that I was going to come out from where I was. It's just going to take time. And saying that I needed an education, I put my mind completely to it, and I went into university after the boarding school. I went into university and studied human physiology. What I wanted actually was medicine, just as you mentioned, because right
Yes.
from time, your dad was always like, Uloma, you must do medicine. It's medicine or nothing. So I waited for a little while, then I started human physiology, hoping that from there I will go into medicine. Somewhere along the line, I came out with a very good degree in human physiology, and I wasn't any more interested in medicine. I wanted to touch lives. I wanted to make money. I didn't want my parents to continue to have to sponsor and also. So I wanted to also impact. I wanted to help. I wanted to help my younger ones. I wanted to do a lot of things. So when I came out, I started working at a Honda place where we sold cars. You can imagine from the medical line straight into business, and business being automobile business. And then from there, I met a lot of clients who were doing. I was such a person that most people once they came to my my car stand in the office, they would not want to leave because it was so warming, it was so encouraging. It went beyond just selling cars. It was about relationship. I always prioritize relationships. You understand? I believe that the impression that you leave on people is going to speak further than whatever sale you are able to make at that point in time. So that was just basically it. And then eventually I worked there for good 10 years before I opened my own car company. And that's exactly where I am right now, where some clients called me late this night to come and, tidy up some things. So that
Yeah.
was, so that's just it basically. That's just how
Yeah.
far. And with God on my side, it's just been a roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not been easy. Trans moving from being a professional where you're sure that salary is going to come every month to to owning your own. There was one day, I think it was a few days we were talking, and you were like, "Oh, my own is I want to make money now. That's what my focus is now." So basically, how has it been moving from a salary earner, being a salary earner, to now getting your own income from your own business? How has it been? How's the transition been?
First and foremost, before I transitioned, I knew because at this point I already had responsibility. I have family, I have kids, and I couldn't be selfish.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me on the car light
Yeah.
so that we can see. So sorry.
Yeah,
I
that's
knew
fine.
I couldn't be selfish at this point. So whatever I was doing, I needed to factor in family, kids, and everything. That's why it took me that long. I am somebody that even while I was doing business in my office, as a paid, most people when they come into an office, they are more interested in at the end of the month, let me receive my salary. I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah.
I'm a very creative person. I like to live in the now. Every day I went to the office. I arrived the office earlier than most people. I say my prayers because that was a discipline my mom instilled in me. You have to be there first. Plan yourself ahead. Then write out the plans and opportunities for the day. Then you work towards it. So most times when I came into the office and my colleagues now eventually came in, I may be attending to one or two customers. Most of those, I had targeted those ones that were really, really interested, that maybe they sleep through the night while waiting to make a purchase. You understand? So they met me right there when they came. And then also I was such that I had a massive follow-up culture. You can't come in today and then I'll leave you in 1 week, 2 weeks. I will follow up with you until I ensure that you either purchase from me or you eventually make your purchase and refer me to someone else. So I was doing a lot of deals, making a lot of sales. I was always getting the award for the best consultant, the highest sales for the month and all that. I knew that I needed to also replicate that in my life because it wasn't just about being under someone. You understand?
Yeah.
Now the thing there is, I was working for Indians, and I know how shrewd they can be, you know. So they are very, very good business people. They teach you a lot of they give you a lot of, you know, very strict training. You
Yeah.
understand? So having learned that, having gathered that knowledge, but the only thing there is they take a lot of advantage of you. You understand? So I also needed to build my own. And while there, I was always, you know, from time to time having to go out, you know, check for one or two things I could do and still impacting in the company. You understand? I'll go out to ministries, I went to various states to get them contracts, supplies, businesses, and all that. But while doing that, I was also building a clientele for myself. You understand? Because I knew I wasn't going to be under someone forever. You understand? So, like, basically, while it's now switching or moving from paid employment to, you know, my own business, it wasn't too difficult for me, except that, you know, most businesses, the first 2-3 years is really not easy. Yes. And, you know, having to do automobile business, car business is a lot of capital base. You understand? However, you understand, even if it's 1 or 2 or 3 cars that I started with, at least in my car stand, I now have much more than that. You know, when people that had created relationships, established relationships with, they'll call you, Uloma, where are you right now? I'm like, I'm now in so place. Okay, I have this car, I have that car, this car. It just, you know, from that relationship that had existed over time, God made a way. And then people were just, you know, coming from various places just to, you know, encourage you because they believe in you. In business, your integrity is number one. You understand? So I go beyond just you know, keeping. Sorry, sir. Just a minute. Hello.
Yes, Auntie, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. So, like, basically, now I also went for a bit of counseling while at it. No, it's not resting. No. So I also went into. Sorry, can you see me? Is that
I can
right?
see you. Quite dim, but it's dim. It's dark.
It's dark, right?
Yeah, but I can see you now.
Sorry, please.
I know.
So, like, basically, eventually I had to go through some counseling, you know, to also help me transition. You understand?
Yeah.
So there was someone that told me that, you know, if you're able to plan it, you understand, so that you have enough business, it's not an easy thing. You understand? But if you're able to sustain for the next 3 years, it's a lot. At least you have enough savings for that. So I was working towards that basically. And hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm almost getting to somewhere I can actually sit down and talk with you without a lot of
okay, all right, that's fine.
hassles as it is.
Yeah.
But it's still so that was just basically. So you don't just wake up one day and do it, but just know that you cannot always work for somebody for the rest of your life. The best bet is working for yourself, and then from time to time you can just decide, okay, I may also need to delve into various other things to help, because it's not all about salary, it's about earning. You understand? And you can earn through various channels of income. It doesn't have to be just one. You get? So while we are still young, we should maximize our energy and our intellect. With God on our side, we are going to be a success.
Yeah. I'm sure you face challenges only in business, being an entrepreneur. What are those? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What are those as a woman?
Yes.
In car business. The car business is an industry on its own.
Yes.
And basically, you would see, and it's dominated by men. I'm trying not to use that, but I have to see. in Nigeria as it
Very
stands,
much so.
yeah, it is dominated by men.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
Yeah. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that?
So like basically, when you make up your mind and you find your passion, I found that my passion is business. I enjoy working for myself and working for others. And just like my colleagues always used to say then, they used to call me Onyego. You know what?
I understand what that means. Onyego means
Onyego is the one that makes money. You
yes,
understand?
making money.
Making money. Making money is Onyego. So like basically, my it's really funny, but I know that we all at some point need money. So why wouldn't I want to make it? As long as it's the legitimate and right way, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
So, but the challenges I must say that I went through were basically first and foremost, most men felt that they have exclusive knowledge of cars. You understand? Like they are the ones that produce the car. They understand everything about cars. I had to study. I had to understand the business first. I had to be versatile. I had to be creative in my service. I had to read about the engine, things that weren't of interest normally to women. I read about the engine. I read about the countries that produce various cars. I I studied a lot about the business. So I felt like I was a bit of a master at it. So most times when they were talking and asking questions or answering questions or discussing, you understand, I was okay. I'm very comfortable to do that. And most times when I speak, people will be like, madam, is it that you like cars so much? I'm like, this is what I'm doing. Just as you enjoy buying, I like selling. You understand? So you have to be good and a master at what you do. You have to understand the concept of what you're into. You understand?
Mhm.
So that said, then also I also had the aspect of people trying to outsmart you. When they felt that maybe as a woman you may not be maybe from time to time you may not be mobile enough to rush after clients, stop people at the gate, approach people, and shy away. They'll feel that you should shy away from. No, no, no. I don't shy away from any business as long as my mind is clean and I know that this is my intention. This is my intention. But more so, the clients that were also coming were always, men that can afford things like that. They feel that they can also afford you as a woman. You understand? And sometimes you're like, it's either you come. There were businesses that stood before me, and it had to do with it's either you play ball or you lose the game. Do you understand? So when it got to points like that, I wasn't somebody that gave up easily. I won some and I lost some. I was happy to lose those ones that I lost because I wasn't going to compromise. You understand? There were businesses that had to do with government and then businesses that had to do with really very critical areas. And somewhere along the line, there were some that God now showed me eventually that this wasn't even supposed to be mine in the first place. And then just as I told you, I worked basically with men. There were some that, they would feel that, Abba, how can I leave this kind of transaction for you? A woman, you may not be able to handle it, may not be able to travel. I will shock them. I'll do the traveling. I will clinch the business. I'll bring it. And sometimes, when you brought business and your boss is like, no, he can't leave this one. He might even, there were so many businesses I had. He collected them from me. Do you understand? And I wasn't paid for them. But I was more interested in acquiring the knowledge. I was more interested in understanding the business because I knew it was for my tomorrow. So even till now, those bosses that felt that they were too smart for themselves, we are still friends. They are very proud of who I am today because majority of them saw me when after my university, how I grew through the business, went through the ropes, went through the stress and all that. And eventually I just realized that I realized along the line that these things at the end of the day, they are what will mold you, build you. What doesn't kill you makes you. What doesn't kill you builds you. What doesn't destroy you, do you understand? It eventually is going to take you to your desired destination. So that's just my understanding of the whole concept. So I can't tell you that the challenges were overwhelming. This is what I chose to be in. And I was ready to fight through it, and I'm still fighting through it, even as an entrepreneur of my own self. It's a street, people walk in and they want to buy cars, and they're like, it's a woman attending to them, and they are shocked. They're like, why will you sell the car to me? And they are trying to play with you to understand your knowledge. And then eventually they have to succumb because they realize that,
I guess the
you
network.
understand? So the disadvantage is when you are not in whatever profession or field. I was in that place. I didn't quite have enough time to continue with my studies. But right now, I'm doing my accounting studies. I'm also doing my master's. You understand? Because while working, I'm still acquiring more knowledge, because knowledge is power. It gives you exposure, it gives you understanding. It opens your mindset and expands your horizon. There's no limit to knowledge. So I'm still going back to school, acquiring knowledge, and while still excelling my field.
Wow. So some of the you said something about some of those, would I call it limitations or opportunities that just didn't turn out well?
Yes.
Was it?
I'm listening.
Yeah, go on. You want to say something?
Okay, yes, I was just saying that, expatiating on that, those ones are just basically, there were some clients that would tell you, oh, we have a supply of some cars, and then, you introduce your boss to them. And then somewhere along the line, it seems like, even they are interested in doing business, but the boss wants to collect the business from you. There are so many others that, they will invite you to places that are not in line with your belief system. Do you understand? They offer you monies that you're like, okay, is this for the car or for something else? And they're like, but you should know better. That kind of thing.
Yes.
So you're like, I basically, I'm not here to sell any other thing than a car. You understand? So let's do business. And you're offering them other things that come with selling the car, insurance and registration, and so many other things that are more interested in what you possess as a woman than what you want to sell. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
I have to forgo some businesses like that. And there were some that I fought through it and eventually won the person. Won the person with words, won the person with, love and affection. And you realize that some of these men, it's not necessarily that, they want to take advantage of you. They just need somebody to understand their mindset and work with it. So when I say understand their mindset, maybe they are coming from a place where they are going through a lot of stress at home. They are looking for who to pour it to. And you see them eventually opening up to me. And you see that the relationship is no longer what they were looking at. They are now looking at, why am I feeling so comfortable opening up to you? I don't even understand what is happening to me. I had another intention. I'm like, yes, I'm able to listen. I'm able to relate and understand what your issues are. So you can see me as someone to talk to, but it doesn't go beyond that. You understand? So some of them I win, some of them I lose. But the ones I lose, you know that I really fought hard. As in, there was no way I could have kept it. You understand? Because there were some that were outrightly arrogant and very, very, very insistent. And you realize that if you toe their line, they may make you, lose yourself in the process. You understand? So there's no need going ahead. So you allow such businesses, probably you recommend someone else to them, a male preferably. And then eventually they either purchase or not, but it doesn't make any difference to me at that point because it wasn't mine. It wasn't mine.
Wow. Wow. So in this sense, our culture back home in Nigeria, would you say in our culture in relation to dealing with women, is it becoming better or getting worse?
You see, our culture for me is the same. Okay? Our culture for me is the same. It's just the woman now. Because one thing I know is that, you don't put yourself in a position whereby it seems like you're helpless. You understand? It seems like when you are in position, when they feel that you're helpless, then they want to take advantage of you. You have to understand that men walk by sight. They walk by sight. A man sees a beautiful woman, is attracted to the woman. It only takes those that have principles, that have God mindset, that have a relationship with God and have an understanding that the woman is not just to be tagged as, a thing of pleasure. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So when it comes to that point, you're like, when people when they want to, when they feel like they can play with you, is when it seems like you're helpless. Growing up, I've always told myself that I will never need to be at a point whereby I'll go asking anybody for anything. I mean, like you came to me for a business. Even when I was offered marketing, I said I wouldn't do marketing because marketing has to do with me going to you. I'm not saying there's anything bad in marketing, but it makes you a little more vulnerable. You understand? It has to do with you going to them. So when you go to them, they feel like, this is an opportunity for me to take what I want from her. Do you understand? Well, my business was such that it was sales. You came to me. You're interested in a car. You come to me. So when you come to me, I'm the one that blows the piper. I'm the one that tells you the terms of the business. So sometimes my boss even feels that maybe I'm a little too strict. I'm a little too stubborn and all that. And I'm like, this is me. This is my principle. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The business is about salary and commission. If you don't want to pay me my salary or I don't make a commission, it's okay with me. But you see, I'm going to fight for the right path and do what exactly I'm supposed to do. You understand? To acquire whatever. But any other one that has to do with me being helpless and then needy and then hopeless, no, I wouldn't do that. You understand? Anything that has to do, anything that puts you as a woman in a position whereby you have to beg. Are you understanding? Whereby you have to beg, forgo it. Go for the next drive, the next achievement, the next, do you understand? So most times where the problem is whereby we have to be needy, we have to be helped, we have to be pushed, maybe you did not score it right and you need a little extra.
Yeah.
You need extra to push you forward. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's when they begin to want to take advantage of you. They will also take advantage of the woman that's not beautiful if put in the same position. You get, or whereby they see that you know your onion, you also fight it like them because we're all in this. We are at the end of the day, this world. We are all here with needs and wants and requirements and all that. So if they see that eventually, you are fighting for your own, why would you want to bring your own issues to my own space?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah. So taking it back to the Nigerian context, I feel that a lot of ladies are too dependent. They find themselves, believe in yourself, believe in your drive, believe in your dreams, believe in your abilities. Whereby I have hands, legs, and all my body parts complete, I can fight for anything. The ones that I don't, the ones that I cannot get with the help of God, I let it go. It means that if God cannot give it to me, then I don't need it. You understand? So when women have that mindset, the men understand better. Because if you tell me about rape or forcefully taking things and violence against women, I understand, but you have to get that the rate of such things in Nigeria is not as much as it is in most other countries. You get, most men, they hardly have to, take it by force, I would say, because, they take advantage of the vulnerability of the woman. You get, when you're vulnerable, that's when they want to use you. They want to take advantage of you. They make you do things you're not supposed to do, which doesn't go down well with you. But having to force you in an office environment or take things, when a man invites you to a hotel, what do you think he's inviting you for? Do you understand? The business environment is here and you're telling me to meet you at 6 p.m. somewhere else. It means that the man wants more than the business. You get? So sometimes you feel like, okay, let me see what he wants to do. And maybe I will outsmart him when I get there. I'll get what I want. No. It's not necessary. You don't have to take it to that point. You get? Just stick to the principles, stick to the rules, stick to the guidelines. They'll give you the respect that you quite deserve. That's the way I see life.
Wow. Wow. And that's what, up to this point where you're still managing your business, you still do that, not minding how much sales you need to make in a month.
Do you know how many phone calls I get in the night? When the phone calls come in, I just tell them, okay, let's talk. Most times when they hear my voice, the first thing is an apology. Sorry, ma'am, I was expecting to speak with a man. Oh, sorry. How may I be of help with you? How may I be of help to you? And eventually I'm like, okay, can we meet in the morning? Okay, meet me at my office. You understand? So I know my boundaries. I know where I expect my businesses to come from. I know what I'm looking for. I know what my goals are. So I determine the terms myself. You understand? So, and it didn't just start today. You understand? Right from time, there are limits to my movement. There are certain times I don't go out. I'm not interested. You understand? I plan my business time from 8 a.m. to, let's say, 6 p.m. I'm done with business. Every other thing should be phone call, which is fine. But if I have to go and see somebody after 6 p.m., then it has to be my uncle, my father, my brother, my relative. I don't have any reason to sit out with any man. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Now, that's also a disadvantage for us, most women, because even in Nigeria here, most of the major businesses happen in the night.
The night, yeah. That's
political meetings happen in the night.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So as we get to a point whereby, okay, if there's really need for such meetings, because there are some that are really genuine. Do you understand? Then I have my partner. I have my husband. He's been my partner since school days. So we do most of our businesses in partnership. So when you see me with a hefty young man by my side, you have to give me the respect I deserve.
Yeah. One of those businesses was this evening. You guys went to go close the deal now.
Yes. So we had to, sorry, I was on transit all through. We're having to run around for some businesses. And since it's night, we needed to go as a couple. And then we do most of our stuffs together. We've been doing that for almost 20 years now.
It's a long time. So you've been married for 20 years now? 10? 15?
No, I've been married for 12.
12 years.
But we've been together for 20 years.
Okay, yeah. So I missed that. Yeah. So how do you manage both family? I know you and your husband manages in terms of partnership, that happens. But how do you manage both as an entrepreneur now? How do you manage both the family and business?
Yeah. Okay, so I would just tell you that it was a little more difficult for me when I was in paid employment.
Yes.
In all sincerity, it was a little more difficult because I needed to be out of the house from 8 a.m. In fact, I needed to be out of the house from 7 because I should be in the office by 8, and then I close by 6. So most times I come home before at least 7 p.m. And that was it was a period when I was just having children. You understand? When I was underpaid employment. So I was sometimes having to be pregnant, have my kids, juggle between work and all that. And I just thank God for the man he blessed me with. He has been helpful, very helpful. Even as much as he has his other businesses, then we run some of our businesses together. He works with the government too. So we try to plan ourselves such that at the end of the day, we know that we have a common goal. Our goal is that we want to be a success, and then we want to impact lives. We want to be an example to most of our peers. My first child now is 12 years old. And when you see us together, you feel like, she's almost my mate, my friend and all that. But the truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, the work is the brain, while the home is the heart. That's the way I see it. I work it in such a way that I always have in my mind that the work is the brain, while the home is my heart. So there has to be a balance between the brain and the heart. As much as I give in my work, as much as I do a lot of studies, I also study. I work, I study, I go to school. I also have to run my home. So I don't play with those times when I have with my kids. I have to sit them down, teach them my values. My mother is somebody that even when you didn't want to hear, my mom is in your face telling you, she's somebody that when I was growing up, my mom taught me so much kids every day when I come back from stay on me. Then 7 p.m., 7:30, as soon as I'm home, shower, I prepare breakfast every morning, prepare their lunch, pack up their things before I leave the house. And then in the evening, when I come back, I make sure they have their dinner. And then we bring out homework. We go through homework. Sometimes 11 p.m., 12 in the midnight, we are checking our homeworks, preparing them for exam. And they're always they're always tops in their class. Like my son's common entrance just came out, and he scored, the common entrance is over 200, and he scored 188 over 200. Their scores are beautiful in school because I'm a very competitive person. I don't play with academics. So I take my time to teach them, to make sure that they are the best. In fact, most times when we go to their schools, to their school for award, if I don't receive an award, they know I'll cry. I'll cry if I don't receive an award. Is that serious? I mean, like, I can't say that one. You're either coming first or best overall, or having an award for mommy to receive from your class. What's the essence of the whole stress that we all have to go through after school? I don't have lesson teachers most times for them, except during holiday. I have to do all the homework with them. I have to give them enough attention. We pray together and ensure that their foundation is just right. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
So my kids, my home, my family it stops for me. But at the end of the day, they have to eat, so mommy needs to work. So there has to be a balance in that.
Yeah. I know we said 30 minutes. So just the final note from you. What would you say to young women growing up into becoming something good for themselves? Maybe becoming anything.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
So what we're getting, so we agreed it was going to be 30 minutes, but I mean, it's taking more than 30 minutes. So this is just going to be the final lap, because I was just enjoying.
It's a beautiful conversation with you.
Yeah. So like, what would you say to young women that are growing up to become whoever they want to become? What is that advice? What is that thing that you tell them while you were young? What is that thing that you tell them when you were young that they shouldn't do, and while they're getting older that they should do?
Number one is independence.
Yeah.
When I say independence, I don't mean feminism. When I say independence, I mean independence of the mind, independence of the senses. You see, when you expect too much from a man, you put too much pressure on him, and it eventually backfires on you. Do you understand? Because people tend to take their frustration out of whatever is giving them, whatever energy that is giving them that frustration. I'm a very independent person. So I come with a vision. You don't just come empty into a family. You don't come empty into the world. There's something deposited by God. He didn't just leave you empty. There must be something that you're passionate about. There must be something that you're looking at achieving. You never give up on it. You never stop striving. You never stop working hard. Do you understand? And you never put yourself in a position of, helplessness, a position whereby you are needy, you're lazy, you're. In fact, I don't, even when I'm sick, I feel really bad having to be dependent on anybody. I like to stand on my feet and fight for myself. So I encourage most other women to have plans, short-term goals, long-term goals. I encourage them to, make sure that, things are balanced. Because I prefer to work with a balanced mindset. If you're happy in your home, if you're happy in your environment, your family, you tend to give up more, you tend to give out more. So my final word would just be that you should remember God in everything you're doing. Because on our own, the only being that we should be dependent on is God. Trust God completely, but God will not come down to do the work for you. You have to do it yourself. So that's just it.
Thank you so much. So basically what I learned from the conversation here, is that one is that you should create relationship with people. You actually should be in a good relationship. And if you're getting into business, you should study the terrain, study the business. It's not just enough knowing just how much something is or how much it sells.
Yes. Profit or loss.
Yeah.
It's not just about that.
It's not just about that. You also need to learn the tricks and the tidbits about the business itself. So that when you are selling that thing to someone, you could actually break it down and explain to that person. You want to sound
exactly
confident to your customer.
Content.
Yeah. So it's really nice. I learned a lot just listening to you, Auntie. Like always. Like always.
It's been my pleasure. And you know it's anything for you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's all love from here.
Yeah. Hopefully we invite you again, because for me it seems like there's quite a lot that probably needs to be spoken, or you need to also talk about in terms of woman in business or a woman in, yeah. And so yeah, because you said quite a lot, but because of the timing, I guess you were just cutting it and just, yeah. But I feel there's a lot that you still have to talk about when it relates
very much true.
Yeah, in relating to women in a business. There's so much that a woman can offer, not in the family, it's very important, but when it comes to them coming out to do great things for themselves.
It's limitless. It's limitless.
Yeah. Recently, I hear about I think about 5 banks in Nigeria just recently appointed women as their MDs.
You see?
Yeah.
That's it now. You know, even when you check it out, most times in our classes when we're coming up, primary, secondary, do you know that women used to top the class? Women used to top the class. So where are those women that topped the class eventually in the politics? Where are they in the commercial world? Where are they in the business? They have been choked. They have been choked. They have been silenced. They have been belittled. That's why even when you make decisions for marriage, for relationship, for moving forward, anything about your life, you have to have in mind that you can't have somebody that is going to silence your voice. And the signs are always there for you to detect.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you. So
God bless you.
Yes, stay on. I will just go off live.
Okay.
So guys, thank you so much for listening, and I hope we get to learn a lot or enough from.
I'm sorry for all the hitches while I was coming down.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll make it better next time.
Please, I will.
I lift up